Truman and Stalin didn't agree on a lot of political issues. At the Potsdam Conference, they didn't see eye to eye. One example is when Stalin wanted to cripple Germany completely to protect the USSR from future threats, but Truman did not want to repeat the mistakes of the Treaty of Versailles. They also disagreed over reparations and Soviet policy in Eastern Europe. They both disagreed over what to do with Germany. This is because the USA was scared of giving too much power to the USSR. The USA tried to reduce everything being given back to Stalin to reduce his power. This shows that Truman didn't trust Stalin and he saw him as a threat, which shows that they had an unstable relationship and didn't trust each other. After the war, their friendship broke down. Truman didn't like the fact that Stalin was communist, and because of this, the tension between the two grew as the Cold War developed. When Stalin took control of Eastern Europe states, this increased the awareness of Truman and made him very suspicious of Stalin's aims and reasons behind his takeovers. Stalin claimed it was just to defend himself and his country, but Truman didn't trust him.
As he liberated countries from Germany, instead of taking back his troops, he kept them in countries to tighten his grip on the satellite states. He set up secret police to take out any communist opposition in the countries. In 1947, Stalin set up Coniform. He replaced any opposition with leaders loyal to him. This meant there were no chances of satellite states would ever go back to a capitalist state. The reasons he was able to achieve this was through the country's wealth and military strength. With Stalin's communist influence, he managed to take over the governments of Poland, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia and East Germany.
Capitalism is an economic system in which the means of production and distribution are privately or corporately owned and the operations are funded by profits, whereas communism is a theory advocating the elimination of private property, where all your goods are owned by all the people and are available as needed. Russia was afraid of invasion, so they built satellite nations around them for protection. These included in Poland, Romania, Greece and Czechoslovakia. Russia were worried about Western Germany's influence, so they set up the Berlin blockade. Russia tried to make the countries surrounding them communist. The USA was capitalist. They tried to limit and stop Russia spreading its influence to avoid the domino effect, which meant that once a country had turned communist, all surrounding countries would follow.
Truman believed that communism succeeded when facing poverty and hardship. Truman fought to overcome this by giving $13 billion to countries which were vulnerable to communism. The aid of money helped to mend the economic state of countries in Europe, which were in extreme shortages of goods. Most countries were still rationing on bread. There were such bad coal shortages in the hard winter of 1947 in Britain, they turned off all electricity for each period of every day. On one hand, the Marshall Aid was a very generous act. On the other hand, it was also motivated by American self-interest. They wanted to create new markets for American goods. One of the reasons was because Truman didn't want a repeat of the Depression in 1930. However, Stalin viewed the Marshall Aid with suspicion. Stalin refused any help and didn't allow any of his satellite states either. He saw anti-communist acts behind it and an aim to try and weaken Russia. He also felt that the USA were trying to dominate as many states as possible by making them dependent on US dollars.
The USSR wanted to cripple Germany after what they did in the war. However, the UK and the US wanted to rebuild it so they could continue to trade, which had begun before the Nazis got into power. The USSR built up satellite states to prevent any more war reaching Russia and further damaging communism. They also wanted revenge. As a result, they set up the Berlin blockade to prevent supplies reaching Western Germany, which would allow communists to invade and take control of Germany and then destroy it. The satellite states provided protection from warfare, but they had started an ideological and economic war with the US. Truman's disagreements with Stalin and his clear opposition to communism created a lot of tension between them. These factors, along with Truman's interference in Greece, influenced Stalin to retaliate by invading Eastern Europe and block the US and the UK out of Western Berlin.